Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, and welcome to Striaton City, where today we have the Rustboro Rockies Challenge in the Striaton Spring. Now both these teams, whoever wins, will end up potentially in second place on the ladder, as the Rockies start out with Caracosta and Barbarica, whereas the Spring are going to start out with Delmise and Serena. But let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win today, the second place Striaton Spring or the fourth place Rustboro Rockies. Now both teams have the 7-4 records, so this match has huge implications as Serena starts off with an Electrify, targeting Barbarical. The Striaton Spring have a massive type hit advantage, especially over Barbarical and Caracosta, who are on the field at the moment. And Barbarical goes to the multi-attack. It does target Delmise. Gets in a decent hit for a not very effective move there on Delmise. Delmise is going to respond though. Goes with a grassy terrain, which again, potentially favouring the Striaton Spring, giving the grass type moves a boost. So if they can get any grass type attacks off, it will be massive, especially if you see something like Razor Leaf that'll hit both Caracosta and Barbarica at the same time. But Caracosta is going to go with a Dragon Breath, targeting Delmise as well, almost getting Delmise down into the yellow, but even more importantly, leaving it paralyzed, so Delmise will be slowed down by that, as well as potentially not be able to get any moves off in the coming turns. Now Caracosta's had a very impressive performance so far this season. I wonder if we can keep that up here today. Serena goes with a Thunder Punch, targeting Caracosta, gets in a very good hit with that super effective move. Barbarical has the opportunity to respond. Goes with a Moonlight, but its health is already at 100%, so that move has no effect. Caracosta now is quicker than Delmise, and it's going to go with the Shell Side Arm. This should be super effective. It gets a very good hit, taking Delmise down into the yellow, and Delmise is paralyzed. It wasn't super effective, so, but it does get Delmise down into the yellow. Caracosta and Delmise getting their health restored by that grassy terrain. Now, as always, this is a 6-on-6 Metronome battle, and if we hit that 20-minute time limit, we will go into single battle overtime. Serena with the speed advantage on the field at the moment goes with the Powder Snow. It's going to hit both Barbarica and Caracosta, but it's not very effective on either of them. Barbarical now goes with the Spite. Looks like it's going to target Serena with that move, so it's going to lower the PP of its Metronome attack. Ends up lowering it by 4 there. Caracosta now goes with the Phantom Force, so it's going to disappear from the field now. If it actually goes for Delmise in the next turn, that will be super effective. Delmise is able to shake off its paralysis for this turn. Going to go with a False Swipe, but goes for Caracosta, who does avoid that attack. There's that health restoration again for Delmise and Caracosta. Sorry, not Caracosta, for Barbarical. Now Striaton Spring sitting second. They have had a very quiet season, but they're sitting very well there. So they've had those 7 wins. Some of them have been in overtime. Even some of their losses have been in overtime, which has helped their point score throughout the season. Barbarical now going with that Noble Roar, targeting Delmise. So Delmise does have its attack stat and special attacks lowered. Here's that Phantom Force. Does go for Delmise, and it's super effective, and it will get the elimination. So Delmise has been taken out of this battle by Caracosta. Caracosta continuing its very impressive performance so far that it's had this season. We now have a Bomber Snow coming out for the Striaton Spring, the Ice Grass type. The Rustboro Rockies are sitting 4th. They've won their last 3 games, so they're trying to get their 4th win in a row here today. They're building up quite a nice win streak over some impressive teams as well. As Serena sets up a Perish Song, so everyone on the field at the moment will be eliminated in 3 turns. But a Bomber Snow's hidden ability, Soundproof, actually allows it to avoid that Perish Song, which is a brilliant play by Serena there, because it will make sure that Barbarical and Caracosta are off this field. But a Bug Bite from Barbarical, super effective on a Bomber Snow, gets the critical hit and a one-hit wonder. So Bomber Snow, who cares about the Perish Song? It's eliminated anyway. It's out of here. And Barbarical eats its Leper Berry just to rub it in its face. Unbelievable hit there by Barbarical. Caracosta is going to target Serena here with that Accelerock. Doesn't do a great deal of damage, however. And here's that grassy terrain, allowing everyone to get a little bit of health restored. But that was an awesome hit there by Barbarical, as everyone's Perish count on the field at the moment falls to 3. That grassy terrain does leave the field now. Still cannot believe that hit, as we get an Alolan Exeggutor, Dragon Grass type, come out for the Striaton Spring. Now, Exeggutor was the third drafted Pokemon for the Striaton Spring, and I am still in shock over that elimination on Abomasnow. But Serena's going with a parting shot, which is actually a brilliant play here, because it will go back to the bench, which will nullify its Perish Song. So that Perish Song isn't even going to affect Serena here on the field. It just affects Barbaracle and Caracosta as Leafeon, the evolution, comes out for the Striaton Spring. Barbaracle goes with the Spore, but it doesn't affect Exeggutor. So Exeggutor has the opportunity to respond here. It goes with the Swallow, but it does fail, unfortunately. Caracosta now. Goes with the Freeze Dry. This should be super effective, especially... It would do massive damage if it had gone for Exeggutor, but it's still very impressive with that hit on Leafeon. As that Perish count falls to 2, you have to think it would have actually eliminated Exeggutor, I reckon, with that Dragon typing. But still, this is a very good start to the match for the Rustboro Rockies. Caracosta and Barbaracle starting off very strong. Leafeon going with the Poison Jab. Targets Barbaracle. So Barbaracle is no longer at 100%. Barbaracle now going to go with a Liquidation. Targets Leafeon here. Shouldn't be very effective on the grass type, but it does get it down into the red. Exeggutor now with its opportunity goes with the Stored Power. It is going to target Barbaracle, but it does very minimal damage with that move. Now Caracosta with its chance goes for the Iron Head. Targeting Exeggutor. Gets it a decent hit as the Perish count falls to 1 for Caracosta and Barbaracle. So this will be their last turn in this matchup before they eliminate it. Leafeon goes with the Dynamic Punch. Targeting Caracosta here. Gets in a very good hit. Takes it down into the yellow with that super effective move and leaves Caracosta confused. This could prevent Caracosta from getting a move out in its last turn. Barbaracle goes with the Octazooka. Targeting Exeggutor there, not very effective. Barely does anything to that giant tree. Now Exeggutor goes with the U-turn, so it's actually going to go back to the bench and bring Serena back out. Targeting Barbaracle. So Exeggutor is still in this matchup as it goes back to the bench. And Serena comes out all cleared of its Perish Song. Caracosta in its confusion, but it is going to get a move off, so it does shake the confusion out. Goes with a Mud Shot. And targets Leafeon here. Almost gets that elimination before it's taken from the field, but Leafeon will have its speed lowered. But here's that Perish count falling to 0 for Barbaracle and Caracosta. Almost a very sad way to leave the field, but they have been eliminated, which ties things up, which is what the Striaton Spring needed. Again, that's an amazing play by Serena. I don't think we've seen that in the Elite Challenge League so far this season. Armaldo now coming out for the Rustboro Rockies. Getting joined by Rhyperior. Now Rhyperior, similar to Caracosta and Barbaracle, is very, very weak against the grass types. So if the Striaton Spring can get the stab boost, get it out of Razor Leaf or something, it will do huge damage to Rhyperior. Serena goes with a Drain Punch onto Rhyperior. Good start welcoming it to the field. Gets that super effective move, plus gets some health restored for Serena here, taking it back to 100%. That speed advantage is on the side of the Striaton Spring, as we get a Sacred Sword coming from Leafeon. Targets Armaldo. Very good hit on the bug Rock Fossil. And Armaldo now with its opportunity to respond goes with a Taunt. Targeting Serena, so Serena's going to start using the Struggle move in the coming turns. And it's also then going to get that recoil damage. Leech Life coming from Rhyperior. Looks like it's going to target Leafeon. This should finish it off, and it does. A very good start for Rhyperior. Would have definitely gotten a lot more health from Serena, but still takes Leafeon out of this battle and gets Rustboro Rockies back in front. Exeggutor now coming back onto the field. Now, as always, in our description below, we do have the link to our Instagram page where you can get ladder and fixture updates as well as our match of the week. And Serena here goes with that struggle onto Rhyperior. Not very effective. Serena probably just did more damage to itself than what it did to Rhyperior with that struggle. Exeggutor is going to go with a Bite. This should not be very effective. Again, though, does get Rhyperior down into the yellow. Grass Pledge coming from Armaldo. Targets Exeggutor there. Very minimal damage done by that move. Rhyperior with its opportunity. And it's going to go with an Electro Web. So it's going to hit both Serena and Executor and lower both of their speed. Wasn't very effective, but that could be good if the Rustboro Rockies are able to go first. That speed advantage in a Metronome battle, always beneficial. Armado is actually going to be the quickest on the field now. And now, don't be wrong, no one on the field right now is that fast. But Armado goes with the belly drum. So it's going to take 50% of its max health and maximize its attack. And here's Serena again with that struggle. This time targeting Armado, and it finishes it off. So Armado taking its own health was not useful whatsoever. Very well done by Serena to capitalize on it, even though still gets that recoil damage. Get a burn up now coming from Rhyperior, but it does fail. Executor able to focus solely on Rhyperior. Goes with a Mud Slap. Doesn't do a great deal of damage, but it is super effective, surprisingly. And does lower Rhyperior's accuracy in the process. Fifth Pokemon now coming out for the Rustboro Rockies. And it's Tyranitar, the pseudo-legendary, their #1 draft pick this season. Tyranitar's Sandstorm ability kicks up a Sandstorm, so Serena and Executor are going to be taking damage in between turns, as the Rustboro Rockies are immune to the Sandstorm damage effects. Tyranitar, surprisingly quickest Pokemon on the field, goes with the Dazzling Gleam. It's going to hit both Serena and Executor, and a super effective hit there on Executor. It takes it down into the red, but it's still holding on. There's that struggle from Serena, and Serena is eliminated by its own recoil damage. So Serena is out of here. The Rustboro Rockies have taken the lead back. Rhyperior has been taken down into the red, and it's going to go with a Meteor Mash. This could potentially finish Executor off. And it gets the job done, so Executor is eliminated, which means the last Pokemon for the Striaton Spring will be coming out to be on its lonesome. And it's Tangrowth. Tangrowth was actually the #1 draft for the Striaton Spring. So Tangrowth, if it can get some Grass-type moves out, this is what the Rustboro Rockies this is what the Striaton Spring need. They need to capitalize on their Grass-type advantage, and they really haven't so far in this battle. Magic Coat now from Tyranitar's Tangrowth is quicker than Rhyperior. And it's going to go with a skill swap, so it's not going for an offensive type move. So instead they're going to switch abilities. So Tangrowth will now get the Solid Rock ability, and Rhyperior gets the Regenerator ability. Rhyperior now goes with the Petal Blizzard. So this should not be very effective on Tangrowth at all. But it does hit Tyranitar, which it's super effective on. So Rhyperior actually did more damage to its own teammate than what it did to the opposition. Tyranitar now goes with the Jaw Lock. So it is going for an offensive move. Gets a very good hit on the Tangrowth there. Takes it down into the yellow. Tangrowth needs to respond with some big hits. It goes with a Dragon Rush, but Rhyperior avoids that attack. Rhyperior has the chance to capitalize on that missed move. Goes with an Avalanche. This should be super effective. And a very good hit there. Tangrowth though is still in the yellow, so it takes it quite well. But now due to that Sandstorm, it's actually in the red, so that Sandstorm being very beneficial to the Rustboro Rockies here in Striaton City. Tyranitar could finish it off here, but instead goes as an Amnesia, so Tyranitar is going to boost its defenses. Again, Tangrowth needs to go for some offensive moves to capitalize on this. Otherwise, the Rustboro Rockies will jump above the Striaton Spring on the ladder. We get a Weather Ball now coming from Tangrowth, so it's going to capitalize on that Sandstorm. Goes for Tyranitar. Very minimal damage, but it does get Tyranitar down into the yellow. Now Rhyperior goes with a Spatial Rend. This could do it. And it does. Rhyperior gets that elimination. Rhyperior was in the red for so long, but it gets that final elimination for the Rustboro Rockies and gets them the win. The Striaton Spring have lost today in their home city, but a very impressive performance by the Rustboro Rockies. They got their 4th win in a row today over the 2nd place Spring. They are building some massive momentum here as we head into the last third of the season. They're going to want to continue that next week because they have another big match on their hands when they face the Hardhome Haunts, who at the time of speaking right now are in 3rd place. So Rustboro Rockies have another big matchup, and I really am looking forward to that one next week. I don't know who to pick. It'll be in Hardhome City, the Haunts facing the Rockies. That'll be amazing. Whereas the Striaton Spring, sadly losing today, but next week they're going to go to the Orange Islands and face the Trevita Cascade. So they will have the typing advantage again next week, and they need to capitalize on that. But again, the Rustboro Rockies building some awesome momentum, beating the Spring here. Sadly, the Spring could not capitalize on their typing advantage. But fantastic, especially once Tyranitar and Rhyperior, the top 2 ranked Pokemon on the Rustboro Rockies, came out, took down Tangrowth, and that was it. But Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field. And if you like what you saw, leave a like, share, subscribe. But more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I will speak to you next time.